Con men, magicians, and hostage negotiators. What do these professions all have in common? They all take advantage of the way your brain works. As complex as the human brain is, it is surprisingly very stupid and easily taken advantage of. No matter how smart a person may be intellectually, they still fall into the traps of con men and marvel at the astonishing feats pulled off by magicians. While there is such a wide variety in personalities, intellectual levels, and social levels, the brain itself, person to person, is quite similar in the subconscious way, meaning that the way we react, our reflexes, and how our brain finds agreeability in the world around us is almost universal. While this fact is enticing to look at from a scientific standpoint, from a social standpoint, taking advantage of the brain's weaknesses can be extremely hazardous to us, economically, socially, and even physically. I am here to talk about how to detect these nuances and how to use them because what better way to realize you're being tricked than when you know the trick yourself? And maybe, just maybe, you'll be able to use these skills in your life to help you negotiate better as well as seem a little bit more agreeable. Now, for my magic trick, I'm going to need a top card and a bottom card. So on the top, we have a black 9, and on the bottom, we have a black 6. I don't know if I should show that to the cameras. And I can put these cards anywhere in the deck, say right about there, and right around there. See, I'd say I put these cards, 52 cards in a deck. I'd say I put them at around 15 and the other one at around 32. Now, it's this cool little trick that a lot of gamblers use as well. All you have to do is, if you know the general area of the card, if you can find the cards again. See, now this trick may seem very unique and mind-blowing, but it's actually quite simple, really. See, these two cards aren't even the same cards you first saw. Yes, they're the same color. Yes, they're the same numbers, but they're not even the same suit. In fact, it was the 6 of clubs and the 9 of spades. See, just by doing something very quickly and making it seem like I knew what I was doing, that I knew exactly how to find the cards, you were able to put together in your mind that I pulled out these same cards. Just because they were a little bit similar, you couldn't really tell the difference. And that's just one of the ways your brain works. I did something very quick. I kind of led you into thinking that I was going to be pulling the same cards back out. So you immediately already were thinking in your mind, oh, they're the same cards. And because of that, a lot of the people believe that they are. Now, I have another thing to show you. Put your arms out like this. Face your hands outward, left over your right. Clamp your hands, point your thumbs downward. Now, I just want you to do exactly what I'm going to do, all right? Nothing hard. And, people at home can do this too, fun time. Now, all you gotta do is turn your hands upward. Well, if you had trouble doing that, and you were wondering, how did I do it? Well, it's not that complicated. I simply told you what to do, you flipped your hands over, and then I pointed away, and I switched my hands. It's nothing too complicated, and that's how a lot of con men work. And con men are notorious for making people agree to sketchy deals that at the moment seem to be the best thing since sliced bread. But when you look back on them, it seems like such an obvious ploy that you don't know how you fell for it in the first place. Conmen have become professionals at forcing our brains to make a quick decision with only the information that the conmen want us to know. The ability of our brains to make rational decisions is very limited when put under immense pressure and time constraints. And on top of that, as a culmination of the ways your mind can get hoodwinked, you have ads. Everyone has seen some type of advertisement in which they see a deal that seems to be too good to be true. They end up buying things they don't even need. A great example of this is Black Friday. The promise of a great deal on items that are usually extremely expensive. However, it only lasts one day. I knew a family friend that every Black Friday, without fail, would manage to find the same deal on new towels, and every year they would buy them. We would try to explain to them that they have enough towels already. And I'd ask him, now tell me why exactly you need to buy new towels every year. He'd say, they're just in case, the deal's so good that I can't pass it up. And I'd say, in case? In case of what? I don't know, he'd say. And he'd then jokingly add, I just know that when something happens, you will come asking me for an extra towel, and it'll be my turn to laugh at you. We all feel the pressure to accept a deal that is too good to be true. The advertisers trick the buyer into thinking that they are making a decision that they came up with and how great the deal is. Consumers think that the company messed up in making this great of a deal and that it's a steal. In reality, it's actually the exact opposite. Now, it isn't only a skill as seen in something as heinous as Black Friday deals on towels, but also in something that is more beneficial, some would say virtuous, a good con man, if you will. Hostage negotiators. Hostage negotiators, just like con men, are masters of the art of getting their way. They have a variety of ways that the brain can be manipulated into agreeing with things that with words and phrases that work the best to make this happen. One of the most effective techniques is the use of tactical empathy. Tactical empathy takes advantage of the limbic system in the human mind. The limbic system can be boiled down to the system that makes all human beings feel, feelings. Whether it's mad, sad, glad, it doesn't matter. The limbic system controls it all. Now, the first step to tactical empathy is giving a name. Anyone can detach themselves from something that doesn't have a name. Now they are no longer a random person, but they are Gabe. They have a face, a personality, and again, most importantly, a name. Research has shown that once something has been given a name, more people become attached to that of which has the name. It can be anything from a person to a pet rock. It doesn't matter. People will become more attached. Giving your name is only the first step in tactical empathy. The next important step is learning to listen and then repeat back the ideas of the person being negotiated with. While everyone may have varying specific morals, most of the population has a general moral code that is consistent against all religion, cultures, and philosophies. Something like kicking a dog while it's asleep or punching an infant. Almost universally, people agree that those things are bad and immoral. Though this can be a gray area with most people when it comes to murder, thievery, and many other crimes. Most people don't want these things, and if they didn't feel like they had to, they wouldn't do them. This causes an incredible phenomenon. While negotiating with a terrorist, murderer, or bank robber, if you are able to listen to their stories and then repeat the most immoral part back to them, in a calm and collected manner, of course, angering someone with hostages has never proven to work out, then the limbic system is triggered and they begin to rethink their actions themselves. Once they hear out loud in another voice that is not their own, they begin to think to themselves about whether what they're doing is right. Of course, this technique can also be used in everyday life. If someone gets upset with you and comes at you in an aggressive manner, then it's best not to retort, but instead wait and listen calmly and carefully. then repeat back what they said to you and let the limbic system do the rest of the work. Let them realize the weight of their own words and how they have said them to you. They may end up realizing that what they said and how they said it is wrong. We've all been in this point in some time in our lives, myself included, I know, where we say something and it comes out in a wrong tone and manner that we didn't mean. Now imagine if someone repeated those words back to you in a calm and leveled voice. Would you not realize the impact of the harshness of your words then? Now, the brain that we as human beings cherish so dearly is not exactly as smart as we believe it to be. It can be tricked in a variety of ways, and these tricks could be used for good or bad intentions, as with everything in this world. The tropes used by most everyone's brains aren't complicated, but they are powerful, and to understand and recognize them are important, and maybe, just maybe, now you can even use them in your life. Responsibly, of course.